BookTube, here is a wrap-up.
I got my ticket for the long way round.
I'm Jen and I talk about audiobooks. And I wanted to kind of do a wrap-up because I haven't done one in a little while and I get too many books behind me and then I have to catch up. So here is a quick rundown of what I've read recently. So I'll start off with the graphic novels that I read. There were 3, and I'm reading those because I want to get to all of the graphic novels on the BookTube SFF shortlist for the awards. And, you can check that out. There's a link below. And the ones I read were Nimona. This is by Noelle Stevenson. I gave this 1 star because I just didn't care for the art style, and the story is okay. It's kind of cute and it's very clever in the dialogue, but it just didn't grab me. So while I liked the kind of anti-hero and I liked Nimona, the main character, I just didn't like her enough to really get grabbed into the story. So yeah, get grabbed. Is that a way? It didn't grab me. So anyway, I gave that 1 star. Then I read Saga Volume 5 and I loved it. Oh my gosh. That is by Brian K. Vaughn and Fiona Staples, and it's beautifully drawn. I love the way she draws figures. Fiona Staples is so talented an artist, and she can do a face and a figure in movement like, wow. I just was so impressed. I had read Saga Volume 1 a couple of years ago and thought, well, okay, it just really wasn't my thing. But then this one, I was able to follow the 3 storylines that were happening. I really liked it. And so I ended up giving it 4 stars. And then I read Descender by Jeff Lemire. Loved this one. Loved it. It doesn't have all the colors that Saga has, but I love the art style and I love the story. It's about a little android. He's a Tim model, which is created to be a companion to children, basically, and he's been asleep for some number of years, wakes up, nobody's there, everybody's gone, all the androids have been destroyed, and so it's the story of how he copes with that, how he finds out what's going on, and yeah, everything. It starts out with telling you what's going on, and then we go to Tim. So yeah, anyway, looking forward to continuing with that one, which is unusual for me. It's a graphic novel, and I don't generally do those, but anyway, 4 stars. I also listened to Perfect State by Brandon Sanderson. This again is on the shortlist for the BookTube SFF Awards. It's narrated by Christian Rummel, and I thought, wow, it's kind of strange. It doesn't take very long to listen to, and it's not what I expected. It starts out being fantasy, and then it kind of shifts into virtual reality, and I found that kind of odd. But it's a good story. It's Sanderson's writing style, which I'm finding he has a particular style. It's not just Steelheart and all of that I encountered when I read that, but I haven't read any of his fantasy. So, I can't really speak to that, but I can say that this was interesting. It grabbed me enough to keep listening, although it wasn't something I found wonderful. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. The rest of what I read was all romance. So I'll start out with a couple of books that I read from Jill Shalvis. I love Jill Shalvis. We all know that I love Jill Shalvis. The first was Get a Clue. This was published back in 2005 and it's not available on audio. So I read it as an ebook in my effort to work through her books, and it was okay. I ended up giving it 2 stars because it's a story based on the kind of idea of the game of Clue. That's what the title refers to, Get a Clue. It's set in a ski lodge and in a snowstorm, and the power's out and there's a dead body, and I don't know. It was a cute little romance if you are stuck inside on a winter day or a rainy day and you just want something quick to get through. So yeah, not her best work, but it was Jill Shalvis, so I gave it 2 stars. The other one I picked up was the 3rd book in the Cedar Ridge series, which just came out. It's called Nobody But You, and it's narrated by Karen White. Karen White is so talented as a narrator, and she has a very distinct style. So you always know what to expect when she starts narrating these books. She has this style where she talks like she's running out of breath, and then this happened, and then she keeps going. And it's so appropriate for what she's talking about, and it really does kind of set the atmosphere for the book. And so I really liked her narration, and I liked the book okay. It's not the best one in the series, but I ended up giving it 3 stars. I picked up Where the Road Takes Me by J. McClean. This is narrated on audio by Laura Hamilton and Nick Podell. Laura Hamilton was very average. I don't have really anything outstanding to say about her, no really bad things to say about her. The one thing I will say is that this book is set in North Carolina, in actually Wilmington, North Carolina, where I always go to visit. And nobody has a southern accent. Actually, Laura Hamilton sounded like she's from up north, like Michigan, Chicago, Wisconsin, New York, you know, I don't know. So yeah, that was the one complaint I had with her narration, but otherwise it was very average. Now, Nick Podell, oh my gosh, I love this guy. He's so talented. He really interjects all kinds of emotion and atmosphere and just, I don't know, presence into his narration. So while he is so great at narrating a character, he also, his straight line narration just interjects so much great stuff. I really like him as a narrator pretty much across the board, and he was wonderful in this. And I have to say, his talents were sorely wasted. This book is romance between 2 high school kids, and it tries to get to a place that it just does not achieve. I thought J. McClean was trying to address way too many social issues that she threw in. There was, you know, a girl who's been orphaned, who's dealing with the idea that she may get the same thing, the same sickness that her mother and her aunt died of. And then you've got the guy who's dealing with an overbearing parent that expects him to go into the military while he's getting offers from colleges to do a basketball scholarship, and colleges like Duke University. And then you had a teenage dad who's trying to raise his young son. You have a suicide that happens. You have a foster family that's very loving, and this girl that is so unlikable. And overall, I just thought, no. It just didn't work for me. Now, this book has really high ratings on Goodreads, so I was surprised at that, but yeah, it did not happen for me, and I only gave that one 1 star. On BookBub, I saw a book come up that was free as an ebook. It was Room for You by Beth Ehemann. So I grabbed it, and I read it because it's a sports romance about a hockey player and a young woman who kind of started her family very young. She was 19 and she had twin girls. So now she's about 25 and she's been raising them by herself. And her mom owns an inn. This is book 1 in the Cranberry Inn series. And it was just so cute. I really liked it. And I ended up giving that one 4 stars and immediately picking up the sequel, which is called Room for More. And it's just a continuation of the series. And I just, you know, I read so much new adult that is so bleh. And this was just, you know, right above all that. And I really enjoyed it. So I read that one as an ebook also, and also gave that one 4 stars. I picked up The Secret of Ella and Michael. This is by Jessica Sorensen, and I started out listening to it on audio. It's narrated by Megan Hayes and Lake Roberts. Ah, no, I just could not get into their narration. They just, I don't know, they were stiff and kind of, I don't know. They just didn't embody the characters very well. No, that just did not work for me. So I picked up the print book because I already had the print book, and meh. This one, I had read some other books by her Coincidence duology, and I really liked that, but this just fell flat for me. You know, I just didn't care enough about the characters, and the main character was just kind of, I don't know, I couldn't figure out whether she was really going to fall for this guy or if she was just not. So, Yeah, I don't know. The love interest in this one is swoon-worthy and everything, but yeah, I just couldn't get into it. So I only ended up giving this 2 stars, and I don't really have any plans to continue with the Forever of Ella and Michael, which is the other book in this duology. I finally finished The Scarlet Deep by Elizabeth Hunter. This is book 3 in her Elemental World series, which is a companion series to the Elemental Mystery series, which are all narrated by Dina Perlman. This particular one is the most recent, and I think it's the end of the series, which thank goodness, because, you know, this plot line that got started back in the beginning of book 1 of the Elemental Mystery series has kind of been going on and going on and going on, and I'm just tired of it. You know, me as a reader, I'm just tired of it. I love Elizabeth Hunter, but I did not love this book. And part of the reason was Dina Perlman's narration. She has kind of a clipped style, and this takes place in Ireland mostly. And I don't know, her voices for the men just sounded highly unemotional. And I thought they ought to be more emotional. And even the personalities of the men, I mean, they tended to be more emotional than she was giving them. And I didn't really care about the characters that much. It got moderately interesting, but yeah, overall, I just, nah. So I only gave that one 3 stars. And the big standout was Under Locke by Mariana Zapata. This is narrated on audio by Callie Dalton, and I loved it. I really did. I love Mariana Zapata. Now this one is all about a motorcycle gang. And she tends to do 2 characters that can't stand each other at first, and then life goes on and they kind of fall in love, which of course this was the case here. Completely different setting than I'm used to reading, and the whole world of a motorcycle club. I got a real education about all of that. So this had some elements of kind of a mafia thing going into it, but that was okay. I really liked the characters. I liked the story a lot. I don't think I liked this one as well as I liked her 2 sports romances, which are Culty and The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which I really liked those. So this one was okay. Not quite as good, but I still gave it 4 stars. So that was all of the stuff that I've read recently. If you've read any of these books and had a different opinion, since I have a rather low opinion of several of them, I would love to know. So let's talk about that in comments, and that's it for now for me. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
I'm gone. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk. You're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm